count the days. It'll be put in place on the 91st day. All right.
Very well. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. Ernest Williams. Don't let that lady back in. Ernest Williams. Wave your hand. Hey,
I heard you, judges.
All right. Here we go. It's position. It's those 4 cases, I think, for Mr. Williams. Position 2 is 22 CP 210500, 355 days without indictment. There's a $15,000 bond as of 10/31/22 for theft by deception. Let's see, 22 CP 211078, Ernest Williams, 355 days without indictment. $75,000 good bond as of December the 31st, 2022, with 3 counts of conspiracy to commit a felony. Position 4 is 22 CP 212559, 355 days without indictment, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts of conspiracy to commit a felony. And there is a $20,000 split bond as of 10/17/2022. Position 5, 355 days without indictment, 23 CP 215407. I'm assuming you want me to waive, Mr. Lewis?
Sure.
All right. I can say it if you want me to, or do you want me to waive?
I don't think Mr. Williams cares. Well, yeah, wait, Judge.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 other felonies on there that have to do with the nudity, let's say. No bond as of January the 13th, 2023.
In regards to Mr. Williams, still other open cases, 22 SC 18443, theft by taking, theft by deception, 22 SC 184-402, theft of services, deposit account fraud. Both of those are assigned to Judge Edwards. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
All right, Judge. You mentioned all the days on Mr. Williams. I don't find it to be a good use of anybody's time to go back through all of that. I believe Mr. Williams, my client, is now 59 years old. When I believe when this case first began, he was 58 years of age. Judge, he was born in Augusta, Georgia. He has lived in the Atlanta area since 1994. From 2015 to 2019, he lived in California. He got married in 2015, Judge. He is the father of 6 kids and 4 grandchildren, some of them in the state of Georgia. His oldest granddaughter is a student at Georgia State University. Judge, he has owned grooming parlors, some barbershops, both in Peachtree and Far Road, as well as in Sandy Springs. He sold some businesses, some land to the city of Atlanta in 2016 from those first sets of business. In 2021, he opened a new location, Ernesto's Grooming, which 2 doors down from the old location. That business has been dissolved partially because of what is going on today with him sitting in. So in other words, he's losing money from his businesses from being in here. And that has been testified also to by one of the law enforcement officers from Roswell. He had owned an unarmed security service, Nesto's Elite Security Company, where he had a number of 1099 persons working for him. Judge, my client has a number of felonies in his past. Those felonies go all the way back to the 80s. He's got he's got one in 2008, which looks like it is a merger, meaning when they're doing the sentence on one, they're doing the sentence on the other. And there is a deal, and my client decides to take the deal. His wife resides in Buckhead, and you will see, and I think that is the Buckhead community. She doesn't say Buckhead on her affidavit, but she does reside in Fulton County and in Buckhead. Judge, his history, there's nothing in the last 10 years. He's never been in one of these cases accused him of attempting to pass somebody off as a lawyer. His co-defendant in that case has a consent signature bond that has been signed off on. I believe Mr. Majeski can tell you more about that when he do it. He has never himself been involved or accused or convicted of anything that involves a person passing themselves off as a lawyer or impersonating anybody ever in life. This last case that came about involves, if my understanding is correct, and I don't know because I haven't received discovery on it since it hasn't been indicted, a single photograph that was found on a computer that the prosecution, well, not even the prosecution at this point, I guess it's still the police because it's not indicted or accused, claimed was my client's and that he was in possession of either the computer or the photograph that's on there. My client has never been accused of anything involving nudity or anything else with children. He has been convicted of things like armed robbery in his past, and that occurred in Cobb County. I believe he was sentenced to 5 years back then on that. Bank fraud when he came to pick up a check that they said was cleared, and he was arrested on the scene. That's his federal case. So that's the kind of stuff my client has been convicted of in his past. And so far, nothing else has happened on these cases. The oldest you've quoted the dates on, the youngest you've quoted the dates on, all of those dates are beyond the 90 days, some of them beyond 180 days. So what I'm asking for, Judge, is on every last one of these cases, if and where you can, that you enter in a unsecured judicial release that mirrors his co-defendant on one case that she has with him that was consented to, and on another case where there's 14 counts where she engages or is alleged to have engaged in similar behavior as to what she is accused of in this case. On the rest of them, Judge, I'm asking for a UJR, but in no instance of an amount of a bond greater than $5,000 per count. On one of the bonds, I believe that you signed, Judge, you tell him he can't be with his wife. I'm going to ask that you.
Is that Melody Scretchen?
No, it's the other lady, the SS lady.
Oh, Strawberry.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, let him be with his wife before we end up having a divorce matter in Fulton County. Judge, also, you tell him he can't reside. I have an affidavit. His wife is a person of some public notoriety. She's given me the affidavit, Judge. I did not file it in because if it's filed, she likes to kind of remain private where she can and when she can. And so she asked that you take the necessary measures. If you want that filed in the court, we can do that. We can publish it directly to you right now so that her address doesn't become common knowledge for her public. Although she loves her public to death, she wants some privacy occasionally as well. And so that's what we're asking for, Judge. I believe that's the sum total of it. I'm sorry. There are two other matters that my client has in his history that I've been told of, but I haven't been provided with anything on. I understand that he has a warrant for a misdemeanor case out of Henry County that's still awaiting. And I've been told that there's a matter in California that the California doesn't want to extradite. I can't provide you. I wish I could give you more on that, but I can't. I don't have it. All right. So that's my request. And I thank you for hearing me.
All right. Ms. Patton?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on. This will be Kevin Majeski for the state judge, and this will also be ADA Lisa Taylor. I wish I could be quick on this one, Judge. This is an extremely dangerous person we're dealing with here. And there's going to be numerous upcoming warrants coming in this case. I believe Roswell told us today when we checked for an update, before the 13th, there's going to be about 15 plus more warrants coming his direction, serious felonies in there, for sure. The reason it was the 13th was so particular is because the last time that these particular cases were heard was in the month of January by Judge Belinda Edwards. She actually heard all the CP cases, and she also heard all the SC cases. Then she entered a ruling on one of the SC cases on the record, and for whatever reason, didn't put anything else on the record for the other ones. But Mr. Lewis and I had about, I think it was a 2.5 hour bond motion on that particular one that day. This will be considerably shorter. Yes. But Judge Edwards heard them back then. And if you note the bond order that she did file in, I believe was on 22 SC 184403, she denied bond in that case and left the no bond in 22 SC 184402, noting that he was an extreme likelihood to commit additional felonies. Going back to his history, Judge, of course, as Mr. Lewis correctly stated, starts in the 80s. He has a laundry list of crimes of moral turpitude that he's committed, multiple armed robberies. There was the one in Cobb, but he also committed another one in Douglas County as well. Got 10 years of custody for that, a short custody time in the first one, 10 years in the next one. Then, of course, false statements, multiple FTAs, probation violations, and the bank fraud, which he actually did get federal time for as well. So it was a little bit more complicated than it was held out to be today. He's an ANC recidivist. To address Mr. Lewis's statements that he made about the California cases, it's true, he does actually have 2 warrants for his arrest out of California. Those are, as Mr. Lewis said, non-extradition warrants that he has present in both those cases. And we have the reports and the warrants in those cases in our file. They have to deal, both of those cases have to do with transporting stolen cars back here to Atlanta, actually, is what it says in both of those reports. One of them was out of LA County and one of them was out of Orange County, I believe. And then, of course, there is the case that the other county in Georgia has the hold on him for as well, Judge. When it comes down to these particular cases, I will note for the court that he does, I believe it's on case number 22 CP 212559. That case became kind of like an amalgamation of a few cases when it got entered in the clerk's office. I believe there's 3 charges on there that have no bond currently. We did address that in front of Judge Edwards, as Mr. Lewis could tell you as well. Last time we were there, and I agreed with him. He was entitled to a bond then, still is now. And I had proposed, when Mr. Lewis and I had talked, a bond of $25,000 per on those particular charges. Reason I proposed that particular bond is because that particular bond mirrored what he had in the other case, which was $25,000 good as well. Judge, we consider this person to be a flight risk. We have jail calls where he's talking about going to see his girlfriend in Florida, multiple times actually. We have a call where he was talking with his wife about going to stay in her boss's house. I'm going to leave out all the names here, as Mr. Lewis did as well, about her boss's house in Abu Dhabi, which is, of course, quite far away from here, quite far removed from any court's jurisdiction here. And just the general scheme that's been going on here, Judge, when we were last in front of Judge Edwards, she put us on the clock, said, you guys got to get this done. You guys got to get this investigation done. We've been working with Roswell off and on, talking to them to see where their investigation is. It's on schedule. It will be done by the 13th. He'll be served with, like I said, 15 plus new warrants, some of which are very serious, that this court, just to put it out there, that this court may not even be able to consider, unfortunately. It would have to be considered by a sitting elected Superior Court judge. And for that reason, I would have to recommend the $25,000 per on the 22 CP 212559. I believe that the other ADA Taylor, has something to say about 23 CP 215407 and the state's recommendation for bond in that particular matter, Judge.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Good evening, Your Honor. Yes, as Mr. Majeski has stated, he's considered dangerous. There are several pending warrants that will be coming out that, based on their content alone, there's a great likelihood that he's someone who commit further felonies. Furthermore, without mentioning the facts of the case in front of us, children were involved. The state is requesting a bond, knowing that he has to have a bond because it's been well over 200 days, a bond of $200,000 per count, giving us a grand total of $800,000 bond for the case involving the exploitation. There are 4 separate counts there. As standard, I would also request that there be an ankle monitor placed on Mr. Williams, as well as that he surrender his passport, not leave Fulton County, have no internet access at all, and no contact with any minors or animals. But again, he's met all the Ayala factors. He's a flight risk as evidenced by phone calls that we've heard.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
Judge, just one more thing. If the court is inclined to grant a bond on this, which would see him released, the state does have a number of people we would be requesting no contact with as well.
All right.
Before you go, I'm sorry, Mr. Majeski, finish up.
Oh, no problem. Melody Scretchen,
Okay.
Gail Bickham, Alasia Alexander, Leilani Waits, that's THW, Miles Williams, Lakeisha Williams, Brianna Jordan, Deborah Johnson, Sheridan Strawberry and her kids, Olivia Washington, and Erica King or Erica Hughley. That was the person Mr. Lewis was referring to earlier, who is her co-defendant in this particular matter, Judge. And yes, the court did, as he noted, we did enter into a consent bond with her. That was for reasons, of course, that we're not discussing here in court today.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Lewis?
Yes, Judge, one other thing, and I would, so the other thing that I've got, Judge, is although Mr. Majeski speaks of these things, and so does Ms. Taylor, there was no evidence offered to any of these things that are now being alluded to during that hearing that lasted for 2.5 hours. None of it. There was, and I permitted it, Judge, during the closing argument of the state, I permitted them to talk. I didn't object to any of it. Where promises were made about upcoming charges upcoming to Judge Edwards. And we have made it from January 31st all the way now to June the 26th. And we're told that in the future, something will be coming. I'm asking this court to give the future no credit whatsoever, because we had a whole bunch of future between January 31st and June the 30th. And if we keep on giving the future credit where things don't show up, we'll have a person sitting in jail who hasn't, not the issue of not being convicted, but not even accused and being held. And so I'm going to ask the court, reiterate my request to you before, UJR, no more than 5,000 counting everything. And I did not hear Ms. Taylor tell us whether that was more than one picture in those 5 counts or not, but I thought it was one picture, or at least I believe that's what Mr. Majeski told me, but it's been so long ago since he talked about that. I can't rightfully remember right now. Thank you.
It's 4.
Your
I
Honor.
can no, it's 4.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Clark. Ms.
Yeah,
Taylor, sorry.
Mr. Majeski addressed it. There were numerous images, actually. And as a matter of fact, the reason the case is still ongoing, the investigation is ongoing. Several more witnesses have come forward between January and now. They're still coming forward. we're trying to have a thorough investigation before we just indict. We can't just,
I got you. All right. Bob South, booth 1. Head up. Everybody sit up straight. Sit up straight. Trust me, I'm tired too, but I've been working all day. Sit up straight. There you go. All right. Position 2, ending in 0500. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You must surrender your passport to Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis will put it in his safe that he has with all his money locked up in. Cannot leave Fulton County, cannot leave the state of Georgia. Stay away from 7100 Suttles Drive. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. You're going to have a 24-hour curfew with an ankle monitor paid for by the county. You can leave for court, medical, employment, attorney's visits, and job, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, the exact location it'll need to be working. It'll obviously need to be in Fulton County. No further contact with Melody Scretchen, SCRETCHEN. If you got all that right on that one, that'll be a $5,000 good bond. Position 3, ending in 1078, 5,000 each count. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no further contact with Erica Hughley, Shirley Strawberry, Erica, let's see, Brandon, oh my goodness, okay, let's see, Gail Blickham, Alana Alexandra, you said? Layla, oh gosh, you got to go, Mila Williams.
Judge and Deputy Clerk, I think it was Hunter.
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
Requested that I send her all the names. I'm going to be doing that as soon as you.
All right, good. You rattled those off. So those names: cannot leave Georgia, cannot leave Fulton County, must surrender your passport to Mr. Lewis. Like I said, he'll stick it away where he's got all his money. All right,
Judge, clear it up for me, please. You mentioned Shirley Strawberry. You did not mean to mention Shirley Strawberry. Is that correct?
Sheridan.
Sheridan. Okay, yes.
Sheridan. Sorry, Sheridan.
Okay.
So Sheridan Strawberry, SHERIDAN. I apologize. I've marked through that. That's why I guess I'm
okay.
All
right.
right, you got the ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical visits, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, the exact location you'll be working. And you can just lift all those on that one, Ms. Hunter. Position 4, ending in 2559. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, the exact location you'll be working. No further contact with your co-defendant, Erica Hughley. And here I've got Sheridan Strawberry and Amanda Johnson. No further contact with them. 5,000 on each count. Position 5, 5407. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. You're gonna have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, the exact location you'll be working. Can't leave Fulton County. You have to turn over your passport to Mr. Lewis. No further contact with anyone under the age of 18. No social media, no internet access. Surrender your passport, like I said, and you cannot leave Fulton County. 200,000 on each count. Best of luck to you, sir.
Judge, are you appending that language to if in fact he's got that hold in Henry County that the ankle monitor gets fitted upon return?
Yeah, he'll have 48 hours to have the ankle monitor placed on his ankle if there's a Henry County.
Right. Okay.
I think I've covered everything, right? Internet access and animals. I've got animals. No contact with any animals of any kind.
Okay, no animals. Gotcha.
All right. Thank you much, Mr. Lewis. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
And Judge, would you like me to copy you on that list of names as well?
Sure, that'd be good. You can do that. Thanks.
I know. So I appreciate your patience. Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right. Tyrone Monroe.